What's going on, family? How y'all doing out there today? This is episode 24 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon. I am joined, as always, by Mr. What's Good himself, Israel.
What's good?
And you know we got a doctor in the house because we got Luke in the building.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing? How y'all weekend been?
I'm going good.
Man, it's been a busy weekend, informational. Got a chance to look at some business opportunity and hang out with some bikers and chill. And yeah, it was decent. It was decent. Didn't have to work on Saturday, so that was good.
Oh yeah, what you doing Saturday? You know you always around town, always doing something. So
I mean,
Saturday you had a good off day.
yeah. That's the Saturday that just passed. I had a good off day. I done had 3 Saturdays in a row off. I need all of them off at this point. It make a difference.
Well, I've been all right. I just been working. Like I said, it's my little grind season I'm in at the moment. Finished working, came to the podcast. So it's like, it's never ending. It's never ending. And but being a busy man is okay with me. Well, it keeps me out of trouble, I guess. What Simba used to say, what Simba say in the movie Lion King? You're like, I laugh in the face of danger. Ha ha ha.
Oh, man.
All right, fellas, we got some stuff to talk about today. We got some stuff to talk about today, and I want to know. Well, I want to get y'all opinion on something first. First, we got to shout out the WNBA champions, 2024 champions, which is the Liberty. So congratulations to them. They season is finally to a close. I don't know if we ever really got into like they whole Olympic play that much during the Olympics. But they did. They got their medals. They did a great job. So shout out to the women of the WNBA. Football season is still going on, and basketball season also just started. The men's, the NBA.
Yeah, boy. Basketball season, then now we talking. Yeah, shit.
What have y'all been updated on y'all teams or anything like that? Y'all been paying attention to anything in the NFL right now?
I ain't been paying attention. I know the
No,
Falcons.
I'm done with NFL right now. I'm done with
Falcons run recently, but I ain't been able to watch the game. I know they won though.
Well,
yeah, your Patriots ain't been doing nothing.
I ain't even watching it, bro. The NBA season is back. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. So I've been keeping up with what's going on with that. Pacers play Magic tonight. Well, no, Pacers playing Magic right now as we speak. And I expect the Pacers to get their behinds handed to them. Not because they're not a good team, but because right now they've even had a little rocky start. You would think that this would be a comeback situation for them, but I just don't feel like it. I think the Magic is going to hold it solid. So Luke had to put something down for tonight's game. We back in NBA season, y'all. Let's do it.
I stepped off for a second, y'all. I was gonna say I'm not paying attention to the NBA right now. I'm not paying attention to the NBA right now because it just started. But I have been paying attention to the NFL. The Falcons won yesterday. The Bears lost on a crazy Hail Mary throw that disgusted me when I seen the highlight. I was so mad. Like I'm looking at the highlight. I'm like, yeah, it's a real kind of gritty game. Both offenses really wasn't doing it. It was very low scoring. It was literally 12-15 Bears with 2 seconds left. The quarterback for the Washington Commanders threw a Hail Mary play. One of the cornerbacks from the Bears team tipped the ball in the air and let one of the receivers from the Washington Commanders catch it in the end zone. It broke my heart.
It broke your heart and probably broke a lot of pockets that night. Yeah, that's a very unfortunate situation.
I was blue. I'm like,
told y'all,
what? Like, it was 2 seconds left. It was 15-12.
Anything can happen. This shows you anything can happen.
The Bears messed up, though.
About the Bears. Yeah.
Well, you know what really, really grinded my gears? The cornerback, the one who tipped the ball to the receiver for the opposite team, wasn't even paying attention at first when a ball was snapped into play. It took him 4 seconds. The receiver's already running down the field. He is taunting the crowd. He playing with the crowd, not paying attention to the play. And he's bothering them like the Bears already won. And when he turned around, oh snap, he get into the play, and he the one who tipped the ball into the other person's hand.
Horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all see what happened when you ain't humble? You trying to celebrate too early.
Sorry, coach. That's all he can say at the end. Sorry, coach.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what type of discipline stuff they do in the NFL, but yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Ma. You know what? Ain't no sorry on that.
Boy, you talking about what type of discipline? It ain't college and high school.
Man, they need to do something. Bench him or something. He probably can't play.
That's where it is. They hit you where your money at. That's where it's at. That's where it really hurt. That contract ain't gonna be the same next time.
Nope.
Best believe things like this are written down and talked about in boardrooms.
Yeah, I was blue. I was blue at that. All right, let's get into the first topic, y'all, because I'm gonna be talking about that and I'm gonna still be in my feelings. So I want to be in my feelings no more. I want to be in my feelings no more. All right. Speaking of the NBA, now we forgot to mention this last week's episode, but the first game of the season, the Lakers had played, and they actually put Bronny James and LeBron James in at the same time, very early too. But it was more so, I believe, like just a warm welcome. People just, seeing it for the first time. So the announcers can say, hey, this is the first father-son duo in NBA that ever happened. And so that happened. He went around, he played a few minutes. He didn't do anything. I think he got like 1 rebound. But other than that, hooray to, I guess, celebrate to him being in the game. I don't know.
They just doing stuff for history now. Like, let's make history. Nothing really happens.
So, fellas, with that, also Bronny James is going to the G League. So he just did this whole appearance with the NBA, with the Lakers, with LeBron, just for him to go to the G League in the next 5 games. After they road trip, they got a road trip going on right now. So after their 5th game, he's gonna play up and down. They say he's gonna play on the NBA team, and then he's gonna primarily be on the G League team.
So
what y'all fellas want to say about that? Yeah.
My reason is why, like, the NBA is where you want to be at, right? If he ain't getting no play, then in the NBA, then stick him in the G League. But it's like now you're trying to break records in both or something, or oh, he good, but he ain't that good, so we gonna put him in the G League.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know.
that's really what it is. He's not that good yet. He needs to
So,
develop more.
so that's how they gonna develop him more by putting him in the G League and the NBA.
I think he's gonna stay on the NBA roster, but he's gonna like play more in the G League to help him continuously develop. Remember, we talked about this, fellas. Like when he first got drafted, we don't believe he's gonna get any really tick. We don't think
Yeah,
he's
he
gonna
ain't
get
getting
any
no
time at
time.
all. And so that's what happened. He came like he went he went in the game for like 3 minutes, ran around, got a rebound, and then they took him out. So
Horrible.
I mean, this is expected. I believe, he's the 55th pick in the NBA draft. They only draft 60 players. So he was fifth from the last person. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a question I want to ask y'all. Does this prove the haters right that Bronny shouldn't have been drafted in the first place?
He shouldn't have been drafted in the NBA. He should have went to the G League. Yeah.
What you say, Luke?
I have a hard time with that one because the NBA is a business. So if I'm in the business of creating superstars, which that's what the NBA is in the business of doing, they recruit potential superstars and then they groom them to become superstars like your Kobe's, your James, your Michaels. To me, it don't really seem like a bad business move. One, this is going to be his father alone is pulling weight. So let's give him a chance. If he does good, he does good. If he don't, we really didn't lose too much. To me, it makes a lot of sense. Now, over the next year or two, probably is where we really gonna see if he becomes like one of the NBA's real superstars. But that's probably gonna be all up to him. His daddy then brought him this far. I think the only thing left after this is crazy hard work. I mean, extreme hard work. Because you're already trying to live up to your father's image, which you probably won't be able to do. Most sports athletes never live up to their father on the level. Sports is a little different when it comes to that. It's usually the son usually does not pass the father. But if he
Griffey
only
Jr. did.
Who?
I
Ken
said
Griffey
rarity.
Jr.
It's a rarity.
Yeah, it's he played baseball.
That's why I said rarity. Because it's not a common thing. So I think the NBA was looking at this like, okay, opportunity. What are we really gonna lose? Even if there was someone that could have took that 55th position and maybe quote unquote deserved it more because it's a business, I don't think so. I don't think they deserved it more because they're a better player. The NBA draft has never been like that. It's never been about who's the best player. It's been about who's at the best potential so you can make the brand the most money. And if you can play good, that's wonderful. And I'll leave it with this before I turn it over. If you think about Floyd Mayweather, there's plenty of people that could whoop Floyd Mayweather. We know that. There's a dude in the neighborhood with a crazy left hook.
Mm-hmm.
However, he's not gonna sell box tickets. He's not gonna sell the way Floyd sells. And to add on top of that, Floyd is an excellent boxer. The promotion with these companies from the NBA, NFL, that is the real motivation. It's not the game. The game is the sprinkles and the icing on the cake, and it's the nostalgic of it. But at the end of the day, they're trying to run a business, and they're thinking 5-10 years in advance. We need to think about our future superstars. His father was already one, so that would be a nice story. That'd be a nice way to sell some T-shirts, nice photo ops, daddy and son. Come on, it's business. So no, I can't really see it being that bad. Now, if they made him like the 5th pick, I'd be like, y'all full of it. 55, yeah. Somebody said don't slide him in there.
So, but like I say, y'all, he going to the G League. So, does it make his hated? Like, does it really solidify like what the haters were saying? Because to me, I'm still on stop hating on a black man for putting his son in position to win. Because that's exactly what all other cultures of people do. This is why you see all of the white men with their businesses. You see the Indian people, their sons are taking all over the subways, that's going on in the country. So when a black man who is a billionaire basketball player, hey, is doing a business deal with the owners of the team that he played for, why not? Why not? But it kind of does. A lot of people are saying that's where he should have went in the first place, like Israel just said. Instead of wasting, because they feel like they wasted the pick. You basically wasted an NBA draft pick for the NBA to put him on a G League team when you could have just drafted a player, or you could have had him come on as an undrafted player.
That would have been better if they had him come on as an undrafted player, and then they could have actually picked somebody. So then they got 2 picks, if that's the case, per se.
LeBron ain't going for that, though. LeBron wasn't going for y'all. That's a half deal. That's a half deal to someone that's made the NBA millions of dollars. That's not going to happen, y'all. His father's value to the company is greater than his skill set. And that's all you need in this world. It's never in the history of humans have your skill set been vetted better than the value of the company, because I can train somebody to be as good as you. But what I can't train is that star, that notoriety of the people just loving you like they do LeBron. LeBron is a hardworking man. He's one of the greatest basketball players, but he has a certain zeal about himself that makes him attractive on the media side of basketball. I think the NBA is trying to pick off of, we know this man is going to retire. Let's just see if his son may be something we can make more money off of in the future. If not, we'll just take that L. You know, they take the L and keep it moving. So I don't know.
Well, I just want all of the Bronny hate to stop, because he's part of the Libra gang. That's first of all, but also because all coaches do this. They put their sons in position. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to build an empire for yourself, and you're supposed to put that, whatever your inheritance is, you're supposed to leave an inheritance for your children. That's his firstborn son, and Bronny James, and that's his first. He's going to do that for his firstborn son. Now, his second son, which is Bryce James, taller, actually plays better. Everybody, and when compared to the sons of LeBron James Jr. and Bryce James, Bryce actually is a better player. Right now, he's I think a junior in high school. So he got a couple more years before we get his name up into the NBA itself. But the hate on LeBron and what he is doing for his son and his family is exactly what you're supposed to do for your family, and that is set them up for success. What they do, and they write their own story after that.
Absolutely.
And people forget also that Bronny almost didn't make it to the NBA. He had basically a heart attack. He went into cardiac arrest one time while he was on the court for his college team. So that's another testament to his durability, his willingness to actually do something. LeBron might be putting in his ear like, hey, I want this to happen for us. But ultimately, when Bronny had that severe medical emergency, he still decided, like, you know what? I still want to go to the NBA. I still want to pursue my dream. And that is what's going on right now. I just hope that this doesn't, like you say, Luke, in a couple of years, we'll kind of see what the real product is, because it's going to take a little bit of time for this whole thing to really have a real, I want to say, judgment on. We can't really give it a judgment on it right now, because it's too early.
Fresh, yeah.
All right. Next, guys, we're gonna talk about y'all ever heard of the Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah, I don't know too much about them. I know they be out and about doing their thing.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so go ahead, Luke. What was the interesting thing about this topic? Yeah, because you came up with this one. I want to know what what was the thing you wanted us to get to understand about them? Because listen, okay, I'm gonna just set it up. Okay, so the Hebrew Israelites is an organization, a black organization, or I'm gonna say people of color, because it's not just always black, it's also Latinas as well. But they describe it as whoever is a part of the 12 tribes of Israel can be a part of this organization, just like all other black organizations, just like the Muslims, Hebrew Israelite, the Coptic Nation that we are a part of. These are a spiritual group of people, but to me, the Hebrew Israelites is a little bit more religious than spiritual most times. They believe every single person in the Bible is really black. And I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know about that. Like we can debate on that all we want. I actually sometimes be wanting to debate them when I see them out on the street. They real prominent in New York, but I seen a couple of here down here in Atlanta. And
Yeah, I seen them down here too.
Yeah, they got their garbs on and stuff like that. But it was a video that basically they were getting interviewed and about this white guy. And he actually wanted to join. Well, I think he was trolling. I think he just was doing that for the video.
He was trolling, yeah. Tommy G.
But go ahead, Luke. Talk about it real quick.
All right, so yeah, basically, like Solomon said, Tommy G, for all those who know, Tommy G is like, he's a white guy. He does a lot of reporting, going into like different hoods and neighborhoods and things like that. So he decided to do a video on the ISUPK sector of the Hebrew Israelites, which is a sector that's in New York. They've been around for a long time. You know, just another sector within the whole organization of the Hebrew Israelites throughout America and things like that. So it's very interesting. He interviewed them. He got a chance to see them train, listen to their ideology, and kind of just, again, he's a reporter. So I found it interesting because, Solomon and I have known about them for a long time. Now, this particular sect, ISUPK, is in New York, led by General Yohana. So I've known about them for, at this point now, we're going over 10 years. Before media really was getting big and everybody was on YouTube hard, even before Tommy G, the guy who was the reporter, before he ever even started reporting, we knew about them and what they were doing in New York. So I found the video to be interesting because it's like, the video got about, I think it's at like 900,000 views right now. Probably the most exposure in one single piece of content that ISUPK has ever gotten in the digital world. So I found that to be very interesting. I'm pretty sure they capitalized off of it, which is probably why they agreed to let him to come and interview them in the first place, because he has over 1 million subscribers. But it was very interesting. It was very interesting to hear, in the
video, they basically like going around the camp, they doing push-ups, you know what I'm saying? It's looking kind of real military style. But I wanted to show just one clip that I found interesting from it. And it is like 905K. So you was definitely right, Luke, about how many people is looking at that. But they were talking some stuff about Malcolm X, but I didn't get a chance to clip that one. But I did clip the one about they said about Martin Luther King. And so I want y'all to take a moment just to see this little clip. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this. I'm trying to do a little bit different this week of the audio because we're having some audio issues. So y'all see it, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
All right, let me press play real quick.
I think he's going back.
Beautiful day in New York.
Y'all hear it?
Yeah.
The sun's out.
It's good?
Yeah. I gave you the thumbs up.
Go ahead.
Martin Luther King.
all false apostles that have deceived many. You understand? They deceived so many people that you would think they actually were sent by God, because so many people believe them. It's a sea of people that believe that Martin Luther King was truly a man of God. And if you are not careful, you will get caught up in that way. And the march he had was so magnificent. And the statues of him, and he's on TV, they transform themselves into the disciples of Christ, but they're not.
I'm about anyone that wants to unite the people. So that's why I like Malcolm X. If you read
And
the end.
enslave us to y'all, right?
No. Let me reverse
Okay.
Uno card. You want to enslave us, right?
No.
You don't
God
want white
does.
slaves?
This world thinks that we're a cult and that we're crazy and that we're criminals simply because we teach what Jesus Christ taught 2,000 years ago. Nothing else.
I want to see sex.
All right, y'all. Woo! It's getting hot and heavy. So basically, he called Martin Luther King basically a false prophet. What y'all say to that?
I don't know. I think he should
Let's
have
get
went
into
deeper
that
into it.
discussion.
I don't know if they go deeper in that video, but probably should have went deeper into it so he could explain why he called him that. But yeah.
Well, I believe he was basically trying to state that what he represented or the things that he wanted to push in America. You know, he asked the guy Tommy G, and y'all see the title of the video talking about it's a black hate group. But anyway, he asked Tommy G. That's the name, right? Tommy G.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he asked Tommy G, like, you know, is Martin Luther King your savior? He said, I mean, kinda, like he is type of a savior, but it went into the other man talking about, you know, he basically a false prophet because, you know, he was trying to do all this integrating and it really went nowhere. I think we spoke on this before in our podcast about, you know, some of the works that Martin Luther King was doing and how, you know, towards the end, you know, he said that he might have tried to integrate his people into a burning house. I think this might have been kind of the context of why he was calling him like basically a false prophet or apostle or whatever word that he was using. But what do you guys say about just that narrative that's being put out?
I don't know if anybody ever seen the episode of Boondocks where Martin Luther King is in a coma and he comes back to life and he sees his people. He sees the way they carry themselves, how they act, how they have a lot of the things that he was fighting for, but it almost seems as if mentally or culturally is not as strong as they were before. And I would say that comes with the territory. A father that struggled and then worked themselves up and built a business or worked hard at a job for many years, and they raised their children up, their children would never really understand the hardship of what the father went through, which would then usually make the children slightly softer. So hard times build strong people. And that's always kind of been the thing that we've seen. So that generation of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X and them, they were going through hard times. So they just were a little different. But I think if Martin Luther King would have come down, he'll say the same thing. Yeah, I integrated my people into a burning house. Not so much purposely, I don't think, but unfortunately, the need to feel included is not easily understood now. So the need for me to drink from your water fountain is not as much understood as the need for me to be able to build my own water fountain. This generation seems to be on the latter sense of, I will just build it. It's okay if you don't like me. It's okay if you think I'm dirty. Just don't hinder me from being able to build my own water fountain. Then that's when the real problem comes. So maybe it's just times changing. And it seems like more people are leaning towards the Malcolm X side of it nowadays than the Martin Luther King side.
Well, the clip that I didn't show, he did say also some stuff about Malcolm X. And in the clip, he said, he don't really mess with Malcolm X either, because Malcolm X was pushing the Arabic religion on the people.
Well, yeah,
What you go ahead?
I was gonna say just to that comment. I mean, I can definitely understand that the Hebrews in the Islamic world, basically same type of people, just different time periods. So everybody think they right. The Islamic time period is the Quran is the last book, but what the Hebrews deal with is the Torah, which was one of the older books. So there's always going to be that older uncle, little nephew type of thing going on. Like I know what's going on, Unc. You not hip, you not young no more. You don't know the real scriptures and all that. And then the Hebrews are like the old uncle, like, nah, look at, you don't know what you're talking about. We've been doing this way before you came along. So that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, they I be having my own personal little how can I say this? My own personal little beef with the Israelites, because sometimes they just get things a little bit inaccurate when it comes to the facts. And I just be wanting them to correct themselves, but they be wanting to yell. That saying nowadays that people say, you just loud and wrong. That's how they be sometimes.
Yeah, that's bad. To be loud and wrong.
Yeah, like you could be loud, but loud and wrong. Come on now. You could be wrong, but loud and wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want them to chill out. That really be my biggest beef with them. They don't go as deep as they should in their study. Like they get to a point and then they stop. That's my biggest thing. They get some stuff that's actually correct that I can agree with them and walk with them with, and then that's it. It's like where's the information? Where's the other part of the story so I can get a whole full perspective of things when it comes to them. So, and I agree with like I say, in that camp, in that video, they were at camp, so they were getting a lot of men ready. They were doing a little chants that they do and everything like that to show, that they are trying to be militant. They're taking that advice that I also wrote in the book of, like, us having security to protect our people. We must have some type of plan to help our people in case there is an emergency. And I know, Luke, me and you talk about this a lot, that when we had that political power that we were starting to build in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they came and they wiped them people out. They came and wiped us and dropped really burned the town down. So, just a reminder, because, this is a podcast. We are three Black men, and we're not going to ignore or be scared to talk about, what the government has done to our community, especially when we try to empower ourselves. So, if y'all want to comment or talk about that, just a little bit of some of the things that, as a community, when we're actually trying to build with one another, how even outside forces sometimes don't allow that to happen.
Go ahead, Israel.
I think, like, yeah, within the community, we should have like our own morals and values and stipulations, and we should have our structure in place. That's for us. Like, if you my people, if you Coptic, we should have this type of structure. We should have this within each and every church or temple, or even together. Like, you got that one church that's like, that's a tribe of so and so, this tribe of so and so. Every tribe work how that tribe's supposed to work. In the gist, everybody working the same or doing it that way, but we got like a similar protocol. And then if people not from, you know, our sect or not from where we from, then it's like they don't get they're not able to come in and dictate kind of sort of what we do, and we can't move a certain way with this person. That makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely understand where Israel coming from. I think I understand why there are so many more sects now when it comes, because when you're dealing with spirituality or in culture, it can get very difficult because you're gonna always mix state with it. You're gonna have, because you're dealing with people who live in a certain area, and you can go about it the Roman Catholic way, which was very interesting because the Catholic Church was able to identify themselves with their land. Probably one of the strongest groups that really identify themselves with their land, still go abroad to go to different cities or other countries. But when you hear Catholic, you think of Romans. You think of the land of that essence of it. So, I mean, as Black organizations, I think the Hebrew Israelites always kind of had an upper hand because of organization, and not so much organization like them meeting up. Like even in the video, like Solomon said, they're meeting up, which is cool, but they were able to kind of deal with a lot of the waves of the Black organizations. A lot of Black organizations came, went, or was really strong at one point, then kind of fell off at another. The Hebrew Israelites was always kind of the undertone dogs. They were still doing their things, but they mainly are on the streets. They're in Chicago, they're in New York, they're in Atlanta. They're actually just about in every, we don't got to go to that. They're in all 50 states. I can promise you, you're going to find them in all 50 states. But if we look at the other organizations, let's say like
they ain't in Utah.
I'm pretty sure they're in Utah. Hebrew Israelites have been around for a long time, very long time. And ISUPK is one of the larger ones, but they're not the only ones. It's a multiple different sects. Then they don't all agree on the same thing, so it gets a little crazy as they go down the line. But I just think it's a certain way you go about it. If you're gonna, if as Black people, when you're identifying with your culture or your religion, that sets a preference. But then you also are living on another land that already has established what their main religion is. So there's always kind of like that fight between religion and state, to me, when it comes to these Black organizations. And I think the reason the Nation of Islam seem to have a lot of success is because, again, it's Islam. Islam comes after Christianity. So there's always that benefit of saying, but aha, I have something new. And I think they were really able to capitalize off that outside of the different overseas connections that they had as far as a Black organization. So they were able to kind of build a network to where if something was to go, put it like this, if something was to go wrong, all the brother Muhammad's is finna be like, we meeting at mosque number 59. We meeting at mosque here. We meeting at this mosque. That's really the basis of all of this. It's like when things are not planned and things go wrong, what have the preparation over the years of the organization done to prepare the people who are in the organization for uncertain times, which then is like life, because life is never certain. So that's my long spiel with the whole Black organizations and things. To me, is everybody's trying to create a community. The thing is what do your community do? Some communities have the astronauts and the rocket scientists. Some communities have the basketball players and the greatest musicians. It just all kind of depends on the area you're in and who you're attracting as a Black organization will really determine what you all are able to build in the future.
And I agree with you. The whole purpose of community is to make sure that we as a culture of people are continuously building. You know, what the Queen always say, you know, we supposed to be fruitful and multiply. You know, what does fruitful mean? Exactly. You know, fruitful is for you to flourish, for you to grow, for you to have some type of life and abundant of living. You know, not a lack of, not a surviving, but an actual thriving in your livelihood. And these organizations, such as the Black Panthers, such as these gangs that was created, like the GDs and all of these people that came and organized together, they wanted our culture to continue to thrive and not be trying to. That was the whole mission. It was supposed to be positive. It was supposed to be positive, but we come to a place nowadays that's almost impossible, because, like I say, once you start building that, and if the agenda is still the systematic racism that it is, they don't want you to get there.
I don't think any organization would ever get, any Black organization could ever get too big in America. I just don't see it making sense. I always say to myself, as Black people, if it was the other way around, we wouldn't let it happen either. So it's like, at some point, you're gonna have to go to the next level of acquiring something that gives you more freedom, because you're only gonna be able to have so much power in another person's land where it was really designed not to even be that way. They didn't design it to be a monarchy, but it's a great place for, if you have a monarchy somewhere else, to do business to fund your monarchy. That's what, to me, what America is. Indeed, a great place to fund things in areas that may not have the same ideological views. So, and I'll say this, even with the Black organizations, because you said something interesting, Solomon. You said to be fruitful and multiply. But I think the Black organizations had a very unique stance and responsibility, because there are plenty of Black people that are in these organizations or were in these organizations that came up to be successful people in the world, but it didn't benefit their community so much, and or it required them to sacrifice a self of their own morals in order to obtain wealth or better status in this society. So I think the Black organizations kind of have a big responsibility on teaching people how to obtain these things without morally getting rid of things that are righteous to you or things that are right in order to obtain something. So basically, you don't have to be the drug dealer to go get the $1 million. Your way of life should teach you that there are multiple ways to get that money, and helping people and actually being valuable to the world that you live in. They are going to compensate you more than what you can ever imagine. I think that's where a lot of these organizations' big responsibility is, because people are going to get big one way or the other, but the goal is for them not to sell their soul in order to get there. So,
I agree with you.
And this is the last thing. I swear, this is the last thing. And I got to say this. I have to say this because of everything that's going on with Lil Durk. And let's not forget about 21 Savage. We're talking about two Coptic blood people. These people are from our nation. They are part of us. However, they made decisions in order to get to a certain place that required them to sacrifice certain things. So I think that's a prime example on, is it even worth going down that route to obtain these things, or is the purpose of these organizations to teach us how to obtain wealth, obtain high status, but still keep our dignity, our soul, and our moral values intact? So I'll let y'all take it over.
Well, you said something interesting. I want to put my book up that's for the nation, that's for us, Nation Building 101, okay, that I wrote years ago. And one of the chapters I did talk about, what makes you a real nation. You got to have an economic system. You have to have a spiritual system. You have to have land and property. You have to be able to grow your own food. You have to be able to have your own type of physicists, doctors, medicine. These are things that you need in society. You have to have your own school. Things that you need in society to help us grow as a nation is the things that you're supposed to be investing in, and not looking at just regular stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the growth of a nation. And fellas, we got a surprise pop-up to the podcast. She wanted to come in real quick because she on her way to work right now. We have the Imperial Princess Joy came to stop by to say what's up to y'all.
Hello. Hey,
Welcome
how
to the
y'all
Pharaohs
doing?
Podcast.
Doing good.
That's good.
Welcome to the podcast, Princess. How you feeling?
Thank you. I am feeling. I'm persevering. That's how I feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know this
Yeah,
ain't the section. You kind of caught us in between going to the next section because we was gonna start talking about Lil Durk and what's going on with him. But if you had a question for us on the podcast that you wanted us to answer, we can do it like a early little just for you. Ask the Pharaohs if that's what you want to do.
Nothing really comes to mind, but let's see.
Well, remember you was talking to me a lot about relationship stuff lately.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if you gotta go ahead.
So as Black men, what needs to happen, or what can not even just I want y'all perspective as Black men, but I want it doesn't have to be a gender thing, but I want y'all perspective as Black men. What do y'all feel like needs to happen for the for what's happening within like the Black community of you meet somebody, y'all like each other, y'all have sex, y'all have children, deuces. Like what needs to happen, what needs to change for that between the man and the woman before the child even gets here? What needs to happen for the family to stay together?
Okay, so you want to talk about the Black family structure?
Yes. And feel free to talk about what has destroyed it. But I mean, we kind of already know that, and that could be one conversation in itself. But I really want to know what can we do without depending on the system that was built to kind of destroy it. But
This is a one to unpack, fellas. Who want to start first with this one? Because it's a lot. Black family structure. What can we do? What first of all, what caused some of its destruction, and what can we do to basically rebuild it? Is that what you're trying to ask, Princess?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
You want to start? You want to go, Israel?
I'll go next. No, I'll let you take it. I'll let you start it off, Luke.
All right. I would
be the best one for this.
I would say probably who knows? I don't know. The spectrum of that, which is that's a very good question, because that's a what can you do to fix the problem question. Well, the first way I would look at it, just the way I am and the way I think Joy is, I'm going to logically look at what is the reasons. If I had to get a family that was at one point together and no longer together in the Black community, and I would say, what are the reasons of the separation? Which they've done. It's something that's been done before, but it seems to be most of the time financial things, financial situations, which bring about a lot of other things that kind of add on. But it seems from other people who've been in relationships, Black people who've been in relationships and separated with children, that it usually started out with the finances and the uncertainty, which would then bring about stress. And then the stress would lead to arguments, and then the arguments led to separation. So I would go about to prevent it, I would go about making sure that my financial life and my financial lifestyle is taken care of before I bring in the children, or I strongly commit to bringing in the children with the, I feel like it's a better chance of the relationship being able to last, because then when the children come, it's not that things are not going to happen financially, but there's more of a teamwork that's been created over the years between the mother and the father. So where when the storms and unexpected things come, it doesn't cause them to have friction with one another. They join together like a team. And usually it's a financial situation, whether it be a car accident, hot water heater broke. These things kind of add up on the couple, which kind of brings a little bit of stress into their relationship. So I would think handling the financial duties with one another first would be a great way to prevent separating households from separating in the long run. That's just my opinion.
That's a good opinion, good statement. And that's a good viewpoint. In my opinion, I think in order for it to work, I don't have experience in that area yet, but from my relationship experience, I'm sure we all got relationship experience, but I believe it's best to fix the family structure, right? Let's say you like somebody, they like you. You gotta ask the questions that make you think and converse. You gotta have real conversations. When it get down to the money, religion, beliefs, love, finances, all of that, you gotta ask those tough questions, the hard questions. And they got different things for that, whether you go to counseling, right? Or you got different things you could buy. I got some cards. It's a slide promo. I don't know if you can see it. It's called the Connections Couple. Tonight's conversation. You can have relationship debates. You gotta have fun with it. You gotta have conversation. You gotta have fun with your significant other. So you really get in tune with kind of sort of who they are mentally. Before you do all this would be the best. You got to be real. You got to be a real friend to this person. Be friends, whereas this person before you actually go deep and make a family. Because sometimes it seems like people go in and they make a family, they don't even know that this person don't really like kids and got a bad trauma, and they just got caught up in a moment or whatever. But you got to ask those conversations that make you think and converse. You got to ask real questions.
I like that.
And for me, I know. So Luke hit it on the financial tip. Israel hit it on from the also making sure that you have time for your partner, enjoying them, making things not so stressful, right? And I'm going to talk about knowing your partner, knowing yourself and your partner. A lot of times we get into situations where we don't even know what we want. There's people who say, oh, I want to do certain things and be with certain people, but they actually don't want that for real. It's almost as like the idea of a relationship or idea of a family is what they're looking for. But the actual person that comes in to try to fulfill that role either doesn't want to do that, or you're trying to project an image of what you want family should be on that person. So instead of that happening, we should just understand that what we actually want and who we actually want. As a significant other to build a family with. Do you want a person? So you break down exactly what you want. Do you want a woman who you want to take care of, or do you want a woman who pays the utilities? So which type of woman is this? The one that you want to take care of fully, she's going to be at home and she's going to ask you for every single thing, permission for this, that, and the other, asking you for the budget of the house. She's looking for you to be fully submit and look for you to have the answers to all of the questions when it comes to the household. That's the first one.
Mhm.
Or if you want a woman that is doing paying the utilities, then she's going to say, okay, well, this is how much money you're making, this is how much money I'm making, this is what I'm paying. Now, who's going to take care of the responsibility of picking up the kids when they get out of school? Who's taking them to school? On the off days, who's going grocery shopping? There's a whole different dynamic in conversations when you set up which person that you want. So in your case, for a man, do you want a man who's going to take care of everything, pay all of the bills, get the car fixed, pay the car note and all of these things? Or are you a person who's looking for a man to lead and you be his helpmate? And so you be that other woman to the side of him to assist him on the journey that he's trying to take you all on and be the leader of. So my answer is knowing exactly who you want to be with and what role you want to have.
Mhm.
That will fix some of the issues in building the family structure back up. So Luke said finances. Israel said that time for each other. And then I'm saying knowing you all's roles
Mhm.
to build back the Black family structure.
Yeah, especially if you know what type of family you want. Like if you want a traditional family, or if you want an unorthodox type, you got to figure that out. Write it down. Write it down. I got what I want. As in my significant other. I wrote it down and readvised, and then it gets to a point where you know your type of person. Like I know what's my type, what I like, what I don't like. Okay, and then you go off that. You know what type of man you like? Cool. What they do, what they don't do. And then who you got to be for that man, right? And then,
Mhm.
hey, after that, it's just it come down to yeah, like how you want to live, what type of woman you want to be. Like, oh, do you want to be like you the boss lady? You got your business, man, take care of this, that, you split it 50-50, or he pay all the big bills, you pay little bills, or he pay the bills. It's a lot of ways you can skin that cat. And you just gotta go with the way that's gonna work for you. You and y'all's. And yeah, that's what I think. But yeah, you can ask more experienced people with families in like their 50s or something like that. Like mama,
Mhm.
auntie money over there. Well, you know,
Not auntie money.
uh-huh. That's what I be calling her sometimes. But yeah, that's what I think though. And
Yeah.
then
Well,
a
that's.
big factor, probably look
Mhm.
at their family too, because you're not just marrying that person, it's their family too. So do you want to
Mhm.
be with these people? Can you hang with these people sometimes?
Right.
You gotta think about that.
Those
What
are
else
all
you got
valid.
for us?
Nothing at all, because I'm in my job's parking lot. But that all of everything you all said, is very, very, very good. And I was just asking a question to see what y'all was gonna say. I kind of have my own idea and things of that nature. But I agree with everything y'all said. Um,
What you think?
and if
Tell
I'm,
us.
I just think that because I'm going through it myself right now, as far as healing and getting to know myself, and being the type of individual that can give and receive. So I think it's important for people to be able to have both of those qualities in themselves. And because a lot of people want, but a lot of people are not the people that, deserve what they want, and are not the people who can reciprocate either.
Mm,
And so I think it's a matter of, we all go through things. We all have traumas. We all have, unfortunate experiences. You learn through trial and error. You make mistakes and things like that. but it's nothing that you cannot overcome, nothing that you can't grow from, nothing that you cannot ascend or evolve from. But it takes time. And like if you're struggling in real life, you are already struggling financially or mentally or spiritually or physically by yourself. Being in a relationship or having a family, that's a job. It's hard. So it's like you all said, even I have a son and I have a daughter, and I plan to teach them. So let it solidify yourself, know yourself, be whole, be happy, be healed before you even seek someone else out. Because when you bring someone else in, you have to learn how to harmoniously coexist with this person. So it's a struggle. It's hard, but it can be done. And I have a desire to be a wife to a man. I already am one, but I have a desire to be a wife to a man when my husband finds me. However, it's the important part, like basically all of you all said, in conjunction together, knowing who you are, healing from what you've been through, having your finances together, having your mental together, having your spirit together, even if you're just starting on it. Because you can't tell somebody who you want them to be to you if you don't even know who you are.
Facts.
So, with all of that being said, a lot of people, I understand when you have the people out here going through what they're going through and struggling the way that they're struggling, everybody just want to be loved. It all starts at home. Validation, being loved, being cared for, being comforted. And when you get out here and you get older and you've been deprived of that as a child, you're looking for that from somebody else. So unconsciously, you put that expectation on this person that's supposed to be in a relationship. And it's like, I can go deeper with that, but I'm trying to stay surface level because I got to go to work. But what I'm saying is a lot of times people get in relationships expecting their woman to be their mother or their man to be their father because they didn't get that from childhood. So now that you're older, you don't even know that you need it. But so knowing yourself, the Bible talks about know thyself. You got to know. You want things that you're not ready for. I'm pretty sure when David was a shepherd boy, he wanted to be a king. He was anointed to be such, but he wasn't that yet. So it's just so many things. But the most important thing that I would say is knowing yourself and healing from everything. But it's important for us as parents, as far as like me and Luke, and then Solomon and Israel, when y'all time comes, pouring into your children so much, because not only are we creating strong, amazing, intelligent, kind, and strong Black women and children, they will be wives and husbands one day. They will be fathers and mothers one day. So it really starts at home. But as you get older and you become adults, okay, what is it, like y'all said, what is it that I need to do? What do I like? What do I dislike? What do I like about myself? What do I dislike about myself? What are my values? What do things like that? So it's really, I think it's self inventory. It's all about self. And the last thing that I'll say, and then I have to go to work, is people understanding that it's an inside job. You have to be whole. I remember when I was younger in my teenage years, I used to think that somebody could complete me, but that's not true. You have to be whole. I am the source. Everything else is complementary. And because God is in me, I am the source. So I get everything I need. It's in me. Can't nobody make me happy. Not my kids, not my future husband, not my friends, not my parents. I make myself happy. Everybody adds to it. And if you ain't added to it, then you're not for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's who you are. When you truly are who you are and you are whole in that, you can look at a person and see, now you ain't for me. So you just look different and you think different, and you won't even entertain certain things, and who you are and how you walk in your purpose. When you know yourself and you know who you are and you are whole, those things will align and they will attract. They will come to you. You will know. So I think it's all with self. It's all with self. Everything y'all said together, it all is with self and knowing yourself. So yeah.
Absolutely. I'm gonna say this and let you
Absolutely.
go. In order
Yeah.
for your husband to find you, you gotta be where he gonna be at. So you gotta go outside sometimes where the husband you think that you want, that you want, is gonna be. So if it's gonna be, God fearing man or something like that, you gotta go to some of the either the concerts, they be having gospel concerts, or different
Mhm.
churches, temples, or what type of man you want. Sports, man, you gotta go to where he at.
All that.
Yeah. So
Well,
unless you plan on him to come in the crib, you know.
I don't mind a plumber now. They make good money. No, I'm just
Oh
playing.
my goodness.
But thank you all so much. I love
Wow.
you all. I love you
love you.
all. I have to get inside of here and do my job.
Go get the money.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by the podcast, giving us something to talk about. Thank you.
No problem.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. That was fun. I'm glad she decided, Empress Joy, I keep calling her that, to stop by the podcast and, ask the Pharaohs the question.
Oh yeah. It was a very good question. Very good question, conversation. But yeah, that's what I think. I mean, you got to be more decisive. Know what you want, because when you know what you want, you'll see it when it shows up, and you know what it is, if it is or isn't. You know, whatever approaches you. But otherwise, you just hitting your head upon a wall.
Exactly. I don't know where Luke went. His stuff probably having technical difficulties. We did have one more topic. We were supposed to do Ask Pros after, but she had to go. She wanted to chime in before she went to work. But this is basically the story of the day. This is why it's entitled, this episode is titled Be Your Own People. All right, Lil Durk in trouble. Lil Durk is in trouble.
Turkey, oh man. I be telling people that's
Turkey.
Be from Chicago and cousins.
Yeah, Lil Durk is in trouble, family. He has been charged with Lil Durk has been charged with what? Hold on, wait, before I get into this story.
Oh.
Where you just come from?
Yeah, my bad. Device died. I thought it was charged, but it wasn't. It was not
Crazy. All right, let me get back to what I was. We talking about Lil Durk now. Okay, Lil Durk in trouble, family, and he has been charged with. Well, let's say what happened. This comes from I think XXL magazine, I believe. And it says that Lil Durk is sitting in jail cell accused of masterminding a murder for hire that resulted in the death of Quando Rondo's cousin in 2022. One of the most sides of the story includes speculation that Durk was snitched on by an affiliate named OTF Jam shortly after an unsealed criminal complaint revealed federal authorities were accusing Lil Durk of placing a bounty on Quando Rondo's head and paying 5 men to carry out a brazen murder attempt. Rumors began spreading that the OTF Jam got the 32-year-old rapper jammed up. In particular, Wack 100 and DJ Economics went on record and claimed Jam had been wearing a wire around Durk in order to gather information for the police. And that was for 2 years.
Dang. That's a long time.
It be your own people. Fellas, let's unpack this. All right. Lil Durk, of course, has now, actually as of recent, has denounced all gang affiliation in Chicago. He has become a Muslim. So and to become a Muslim, you can't be in a gang anymore. I think that's one of the rules. He said he is turning his life around. He has lost King Von, which was one of the members of also the OTF family. And a lot of the things now that Durk is doing is trying to be more positive in the community and is trying to do better. But when that whole incident happened, when King Von died and got shot in Atlanta, supposedly what allegedly said that Durk went and got some people. Durk went to go hire some people so they can go handle who killed King Von. Now we know how this stuff going in gang culture. Some of this stuff is actual what happens. But for a person that he helped once he got out of jail, the OTF Jam person did 12 years. He came home. Lil Durk gave him $50,000, a bunch of cars, tried to set him up. Even said that in a song that he was trying to help his brother out after he was in jail for over 10 years. That same person, though, has now been, as they call it, a snitch to try to take down Durk. Fellas, what y'all thoughts on this whole story that's going on right now?
Man, sometimes Dirk, he be telling the future in his songs, man. I don't know what song it is, but it was something where he's like, if you get caught by the feds and your homie told you don't even need a lawyer because you know you're going down or something like that. But and paraphrasing here, and it's like you listen to his music, he kind of telling his demise at this point. He said,
Damn.
they asked him where you gonna be in 10 years. He said, the feds. That was in the song. Man.
I heard that. I saw that.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it be your own people, man. It's crazy. Like I would have did what I did for homie coming out, and then after that, I would have had to distance him just off the speculation. But
I mean, but when you think about it, he didn't think his boy was gonna do him like this. Because he obviously he got arrested for a situation for shooting in somebody. So he not thinking, hey, you already a criminal. So
that was the name of the song, Red Man.
Red Man, okay. He was already a criminal, so he not thinking a criminal finna snitch on him. Why? I heard like it was like in a chain or something. Like they had a new way of trying to get him to snitch. Yeah, I heard it was like they put in a chain or something like that. Something wild. It could have been. It was hearsay. I don't know if it was really in the chain. What you think about this whole situation, Luke? Like that's supposed to be his brother. He was part of the family.
Only the family gonna get you, boy. Only the family gonna get you.
There's no honor within the streets. We know that. I'm not surprised that any of this happened because Lil Durk, he's big. He's a big artist. He's a rapper. He's a bigger rapper than he is a gangster, and he's very musically inclined. So if I look at the gangsters that were full-time gangsters and I see the same thing happen to them, I can't think that my boy is going to get anything better. You look at the mob. The mob dealt with this. Constant rats. And they were full-time gangsters. Full-time gangsters. And snitch after snitch after snitch, deal after deal, because there is no honor within the streets.
That's crazy. Snitch after snitch. That's crazy.
It just works that way. I mean, if the Fed is offering something to somebody that need it, they gonna take it. And then can you really get mad at them for taking it? You can say, oh, you supposed to do this, you supposed to do that, but what does it really get to? Like, that's what I'm like, it's no real benefit at the end of the day with it, which is why I think it's like a losing game when you're dealing with that. If you're gonna get to that level, you don't play that game unless you get to the government level or like a high level, and even then, it don't work for them at times. There's always gonna be a whistleblower. There's always gonna be someone that exposes what happened. So the best thing to me to do is just to stay away from it all. so that when anybody talking about you, they can't throw you under the rug when it comes to stuff like that. I would have handled that situation a little different, and this is why I admire 50 Cent. I don't care what nobody say. He brought a level of boss level type situations, like how to handle certain stuff. So if my homie King Von just got shot down and I'm upset, I know what the feds want me to do. I already know. For all I know, this is a setup. They looking for an emotional reason because this is supposed to be like my brother for me to react in an emotional way. But see, they don't do that. They go to court. They create campaigns. So the most you can really get out of the situation with King Von, the greatest gratification I think Durk could have gotten without seeing the dude actually die, would to campaign on catching him and getting him locked up. But again, in the streets, then Durk gonna be looked at as like a snitch. But in reality, the world, the ones who really got the power, they're way more powerful than any gangster on the street. That's the way that they do things. They use the court. They use campaign rallies. They get the people riled up. And
They say
from
beat
the
them by
power,
the book.
yeah,
That's
and then
how
the
you do
power
it.
that Durk got, he could have got the whole city riled up behind. We're gonna get him locked up. I'm gonna make sure But you know how the streets is. No, I want to see him dead because it's an eye for an eye. I don't think I think that's too easy because it's over with then.
Definitely too easy. He got that in one of his songs too.
But if you campaigning as a rapper to get somebody who hurt your family member or somebody that's close to you to face the justice, now you're using your power. Like, to me, that's like some government high level type stuff. Now your power is not so much I'm gonna do anything that get me locked up, but I'm still gonna get gratification out of seeing your life destroyed because you took someone away from me. So it may not be your life that I'm able to get, which I don't think anybody should. I wouldn't even want that in my hands. But you do have the right as a legal citizen to fight for your loved ones, whether that means suing the person to the ground, putting them through different court situations to where now you financially then bankrupt them because they got to constantly go to court. Whatever you have to do to get the killer, taken care of without throwing yourself to where you're no longer useful. Because now Lil Durk ain't useful for his whole camp. His whole camp is without a leader. So really there are going to be multiple losses here because of the way that it went about. The whole, getting a homie off the street. Man, you can't trust none of these dudes. They're a rat for the next person that throw them twice of what you gave them to handle the business. They gonna tell it and sing like a canary, man. We learned this over years. We seen every single organization, gang, from Tupac, all of them. We see everybody go through it. I do not think that the wheel is gonna become something different. It's gonna stay a wheel.
So you think he should have basically? Well, you saying he should just went to court. Just plain out, he should have just went to court. But
not even.
But if he was gonna move like this, he should have did this by himself.
Right. Or if you're not gonna I don't agree with taking dude life because even then they never got dude. They had to get his brother, or his cousin, or something.
Yeah.
They never even caught the actual target. But see, it's easier to catch a target. You gotta play the game like the system do. The system certain systems destroy people's lives long term. They watch you suffer. So that quick satisfaction of guarantee, like I got you back, a life for a life. I to this day I don't think is as effective as what we see they do to us. If we do something wrong, we commit a crime, we got to go to court. We have to pay our bill. We have to pay our court fees. It literally changes our whole life. To me, that's more of a get back than ending somebody's life. That's like them literally waking up every day having to face the facts on what decision that they made. And with Durk's star power, I would have used that power. I would have got the best of lawyers. I would have destroyed whoever pulled the trigger. I would have destroyed their life financially. I would have just took their freedom away, whether it's getting them locked up. You can call me a snitch all you want. But at the end of the day, the courts was created for us to have a strategic tool so that we don't kill each other. That's why the whole situation was created.
That is true. I agree with that. That's what court was created for. But I can't blame him. I'm not gonna lie, I can't blame Dirk because listen, there's a this is basically the same Judas and Jesus story, if we want to take it to a biblical sense, okay? This is your boy. Y'all in the same gang, same organization. He actually was in jail, like he got caught with what he got caught with. And so what you do as the big homie, when he got out, you gave him 50 bands. You gave him a car or two. After that, Dirk should have, like you said, Israel, he should have separated himself. You did your due diligence.
You hot. They even though you out, you still hot. They probably gonna, keep their eye on you.
Yep. You did your due diligence by not letting your brother fall by the wayside. You took care of him after he got out so he can at least jumpstart from where he was left off at.
Right.
But you gotta make sure you watch the company that you keep around you. So if I was to give some wisdom in this whole situation to Dirk, bro, I hope whatever legal situation that you gotta fight, I hope you get through it, learn from your mistakes, and separate yourself like you've been doing. You already denounced your gang ties. You walking into a different light of spirituality. You're making yourself a different man. You're growing from what you used to be. Unfortunately, this type of stuff happens when you are elevating in life. There is a past situation that will come up as you're elevating to see if you really want to elevate.
Right. He got keys to 2 cities in one weekend, and then this happens. Crazy story.
Yeah, and I think they took that key back.
They took him back. Yeah, they took him back.
So what you supposed to do with the keys of the city? That's just to say you can come in and out, do whatever, whenever.
I really don't even know what that means.
Nah,
for real, the key to the city.
Nah, it's like it's a visual thing more than anything, showing your respect for the city, the level of respect the city got for you.
Okay.
On a government level. On a government level. So usually the mayor hands this
You're like, give me that back.
Yeah, they get that back.
Well,
Smart keys.
I just want to say, when it comes to this whole situation with Lil Durk, like I say, the spirit gonna try you, bro. The universe will try you. You say you want to be different. You say you want to elevate. You say you are leaving your old self behind. Well, here go a test to see if that's where you want to go.
Yeah,
so this is a big test for him.
Call it how you call it.
It's a big test for him.
It is.
It's a big test for him.
Well, hold on. Let's see then. What blueprint is he gonna take? Sounds like he might be going down the Kevin Gates route.
What's Kevin Gates route?
The Kevin Gates route was hard at first, hard to deal with, straight gangster. He ended up doing time, turned his life around, became a Muslim. Then when he got out, he capitalized off of his life transformation to now sell his new music that's out, which is still, of course, he's still in the same genre, but it created...
He actually just did that too. He just did a post that he got a new album dropping out, I think, on the 22nd of November.
It keep it relevant. People love a comeback story. So that's a comeback story. You went to jail, you learned your lesson. Now you're trying to change your life around. That still sells. That is...
All right, everybody not Malcolm X, man.
I don't know, though. So y'all got to remember where y'all heard it first. Maybe Luke might be on something.
Everybody not Malcolm X, man. Malcolm X went to jail as a pimp. They came out as one of the most influential people of all time.
Yeah, I won't say he might be one of the most influential, but the Kevin Gates route works financially as a rapper. You turn your life around. Now you're able to sell off of the fact of your transformation. So I don't know if Lil Durk gonna go down that route. It sounds like it, especially now with everything that's unfolding, unfortunately for him. But again, this happened 2 years ago, where this actual move was made. So there probably have been a lot of life lessons that's happened since that decision. But now you're paying for the decision, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know, you gotta.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a test. I just hope Dirk don't, I'm gonna just pray that he learned, if this is true about him, because we got to keep saying allegedly to these things, y'all.
Right,
every single time something come out in the news, y'all, we got to say allegedly. Now we can't just blame them for sure,
because the media be lying. They be lying.
Big lie.
Like I say, just watch the company that you keep, because things like this does happen. All right. With that being said, fellas, do we got anything else y'all want to mention before we get out of here?
Make sure you like and subscribe to the Pharaohs Podcast. Share these videos. Share the channel.
Same.
For sure.
I say the same thing. My closing outro: like, subscribe, comment. I'm Luke. You can find me at Luke733Lee, the number 9 at gmail.com. Blessings.
All right. Family, thank you for tuning in to episode 24. Y'all, we've been doing this for 24 weeks. Episode 24 of the Pharaohs Podcast. I'm your host, Solomon. You can find me Instagram, CJ Walker 103. You can email me if you want your book published at cwalker1582 at gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook at Cornelius Solomon Walker. Israel, where can people find you?
Y'all can find me at Jonathan Johnson, 621.com. You can email me. Find me on the Pharaohs Podcast. You find me in the streets. Where the people at? On a bike. I'm outside. I'll be at work.
All right, family, and like we say, make sure y'all email us. Keep calling in for the Ask the Pharaohs. We are getting people almost every week now, which I'm really excited about. And find us at the Pharaohs Podcast at gmail.com. Follow us on all platforms, Twitter. Well, no, not Twitter yet. Instagram. We're working on still Facebook, and also come to this channel on YouTube and TikTok. We're definitely on TikTok now. Oh, and then also I'm gonna let you know when we will be on Spotify. Working on Spotify. Oh, yeah, we trying to get to the coins, get to the money.
Yes, sir. Get to the monions.
All right, family. Peace.
Peace.
All right, I got a question.